You won't believe it, but the temperatures have increased for the past hour up to 20 degrees. While we would have thought it was the opposite, but it's getting warmer by the hour.
Here we go then, Junior X30 then for their race. Let's have a look at how they are going to line up for their next qualifying heat. Thomas Quince and Cathal Clark, they'll go from row 1. Toby Gale and Thibaut Ramicas, they take row 2. Freddie Lloyd and Noah Montero round out row number 3. Harrison Mackie and Vilma Chavan, they round out row 4 with Angelina Proenca and Jon Helder rounding out row 5. Elvis Krakauskas and Romeo Rossell round out row number 6.
Row number 7, Austin Gale and Joseph Smith. Then we have Tag Buckley and Timo Koopmans. Row number 9, Senna Meunier and Matheus Uribe. Ari Battle and Daniel Mota on row number 10. Row number 11, Thomas Pradier and Nikita Nikishov. Thomas Fernandez and Enzo Ruggiero on row number 12. And then we have Giovanni Tarazona Navarro to run up the top 25. 25 on the grid, 25 on the track for 8-lap qualifying heat in the junior class. And this will be the last one of them all before the superheat of tomorrow. So this is the last chance for those two groups, A versus C, the fastest, again the first fastest in qualifying. This is the last chance to make something out of it, to secure a result or to try to recover from a previous disappointment, because after that there will be no more races for the yes, there will be one more, sorry, my apologies, there will be one more with the BD. We just finished with the senior for now, then after the juniors, the mini, so my apologies. This is the penultimate race, shall I say, of the junior class, but the last one for the A and C, and then we will see the last one for the B and D. So to speak, this is still the last chance for those two groups to make something out of it.
Yeah, it's the last chance for Group A and C to make any advantages, really. Like I say, it's been a long old day, hasn't it, Graham? It's like you say, it's hot in the commentary box. We're tired. It's been a long day, but we're getting through it. We've got tomorrow to look forward to as well, and hopefully the viewers at home are enjoying what they are seeing. And if you are enjoying it, do make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button on the RGMC YouTube page as well, so you can stay up to date for when we do go live, and you can stay up to date with all the future videos that they do post. Here we go then, lining up time. They're on the back straight, the crowd going wild. Give us a Mexican wave. No. Okay, fine, they didn't. Into the final chicane they go.
They're being focused.
They are focused, ready on the racing. I thought they were going to help me out there. They didn't. Into the tram lines. A little bit sideways there for Cathal Clark. We get going, though, and it's a terrible start for Cathal Clark. Absolutely swamped by the start. I'm not sure what happened there whatsoever. Does everyone get round turn 1 okay? Yes, they do. Do they get round turn 2 okay? No, they don't. There's one off in the background, and it is one of the FA cars, I think. It was the number 15.
That's a 25. It was, I think, and looking at it, I think it was Thibaut Koopmans from Energy Corse Benelux who went cross country, and fortunately is already busy finding back for position, but he travelled down the order.
41 leading the way then, Thomas Quince with the clean getaway. Has got 2 fusion carts line astern, the 51 and the 21. So Freddie Lloyd and Harrison Mackie with 2 good starts there from a little further down the order. They are now going to try and work together to try and close that gap. Just a little further behind, it looks like it's one of the crop promotion carts. It looks like the 1, 2, 3 of Toby Gale, who's now down in towards P4 as they all snake their way through the final chicane onto the start-finish straight. They clout that exit curve back over the line. It is Quince who leads from Lloyd, Mackie, Gale, Toby Gale, then Austin Gale, then Proenca, Buckley, Clark and Montero.
Yeah, the battle is on between the 3 leaders. Kinsey, Lloyd, Mackie is split by pretty much nothing into the chicane. I was looking for Cathal Clark. He tumbled all the way down to P8 in what had been a strange starting procedure indeed. It wasn't good enough by the race director, but you could see that Thomas Kinsey was on the line and on time on when the lights went green, but Cathal Clark was running a little bit behind, and that cost him dearly on the way to turn number 1. Here we are with the Fusion drivers, the teammates Lloyd and Harrison Mackie, with still that challenge, still that bet over his head. Oh, the 25, that's Timo Koopmans, who was late to the party after going cross-country into the turn number 1. He was fighting for positions and just went off once again, unfortunately.
Change for the lead as down the inside, Freddie Lloyd has managed to get the lead from Thomas Quince, who's now down into P2. There, the recovering number 14, now back out on circuit. So that's a disaster for Jon Helder, who had that incident earlier on in the day at turn number 3 as well, seeing trouble again this time around. 1, 2, 3 and 4 on the same screen. Sorry, make that 5 on the same screen. All battling for this race lead on lap number 2 as they exit through turns number 6 into through 7 and 8 now. They're nearly at the fast section of track, and this is where we like to see a lot of overtakes down into the braking zone of turn 10. Anyone going to dive to the inside? Yes, they are. It's Harrison Mackie in the number 21. Dives to the inside, gets past Quint, but Quint immediately fights back and says, no, I'm going to have that. And here comes now the 1, 2, 3 of Toby Gale trying to get involved. Can't quite squeeze the gap. No, he can't. So they chop and change, but they stay in the same position, and crucially, that's allowed Freddie Lloyd to get a bit of breathing space.
Yeah, beautiful piece of racing on the way to the chicane, and Toby Gale was there to shut the door because the other Gale, Austin, was there for the taking as well, but had to stay behind. That's the first attempt of certainly a couple to come. No one dares to move into turn number 1. That might come to the chicane, as this is a good bandwagon of drivers far away from the 51 of Freddie Lloyd, who has been pulling away up to 1 second of a gap. Cathal Clark in the middle of it in P7, trying to find his way through with the fastest lap in this race. The diffusion drivers have to work together, stick together, try to make a difference in this very agitated group of drivers on the way to turn number 10. The 41 of Thomas Kinsey is having none of it when it comes to the fight for the victory. At the moment is resisting as much as he can to Harrison Mackie, but losing sight to Lloyd at the same time. So very difficult to keep up, and you can see him gesturing to the Fusion Motorsport driver behind. Stay with me, don't fight me just yet, because we need to really close in on Lloyd, because otherwise this will be the last hopes for victory.
Yes, indeed. There in the pit lane, the Evolution driver, the number 14, Jon Helder, retiring from the race now, and chopping and changing once again, because now the 21 of Mackie has got back past Thomas Quinsey and moved back up into P2. Now we'll say, right, okay, now I'll lead, you follow me, and now let's catch. I think, let's try it the other way. It didn't work your way, let's try it my way. And already you can see he has opened up a gap, so maybe he was thinking that, wanted to get past sooner rather than later on Thomas Quinsey, but still doing a very good job out there. Tyke Buckley as well has come to join. The number 11, currently running in 5th place, is up 10 positions, so he's had a fabulous start to his race now in this top group. So keep a close eye on the Irishman, who's had a fantastic running so far in this race. Down the inside there, looking like one of the drivers in the background. Crucially, I think Mackie is catching up to his teammate Alan.
That's going to be interesting for the last less than 3 laps now, and Cathal Clark under the pressure of the number 15 behind him. This is Van just behind, trying to make his way through. Vilmos Van on Cathal Clark. This is a battle for P6. Harrison Mackie confirming his ambition with the fastest lap in this race. There is the number 21 in 2nd position as it stands, with Freddie Lloyd. They are there for the taking. So let's see how all of this is going to play out, because Thomas Kinsey is still a threat as it stands from P3, working together with Toby Gale, Buckley and Cathal Clark in P6, all the way down with a bit of a gap, as Thibaut Ramaker has just made his way past Austin Gale for P7. Now all eyes on the battle for the lead, and maybe that's a possibility that both Tate Buckley and Austin Gale, that we haven't seen battling at the forefront before, might have put on fresher tires before. And here's the switch for the lead run. Inside of the number 1 goes Harrison Mackie, and he made that stick beautifully. Was it part of the plan? Was it not really expected by Freddie Lloyd? As a result, the switch position, let's see if they're going to switch it again.
Well, I don't think it was part of Freddie Lloyd's plan, because you saw what he did. He was saying, think to Mackie, let's not fight, let's just pull away. And Mackie was like, no, I'm going to go for this one. And you got to think, yeah, that's probably the right choice for Mackie. You know, he is down on the points at the moment, and he has got that bet looming over his head as well. So he wants to get as many, well, at least points as possible to start higher up later on in the weekend. So far, so good for him in this race. I'd say quite calm then for the front section here. They've all seemed to settle down as I say it. Freddie Lloyd comes back down the inside through the last chicane and they start squabbling again. And now here comes Thomas Quince as defensive now. Goes Freddie Lloyd in towards turn 1. Are we going to get the switchback move here under braking? It looked like Mackie was going to go right into the back of his teammate there in towards the braking zone of turn 1. You've got to be so careful here. Don't hit that exit curb too much. Now they're side by side. Oh, there is contact between the two teammates. Rule number 1 in racing, do not hit your teammate. He just broke that rule.
Yes, indeed, and that could go the way of Thomas Kinsey, because I was going to say it's a tricky situation for Fusion, because on one side you have Freddie Lloyd, who's P4 in the ranking as it stands, P5 now on equal points to Jensen Graham, but Harrison Mackie is much further down the classification. Maybe he needs to save himself, but what do you choose? To save a driver maybe on the verge, or to go to the advantage of the one that can go for the win in the end in the final? So that's a tricky one, and I guess maybe they said to the drivers, okay, fair win. Oh! I was gonna say maybe they decided to play for the double win. He's furious, and actually Freddie Lloyd lost a potential victory in the last meters of the race. Harrison Mackie wins that qualifying heat, but as you said, Anthony, they broke the rule once and they broke the rule a second time, just a few meters for the checkered flag. Not quite sure they like it at Fusion.
It tells me they're not going to be on each other's Christmas card list at the end of this year after this race, but we'll have to see. Fusion Motorsport, though, Harrison Mackie, after 8 laps, does take the race win after 11.4 kilometres of racing from Cathal Clark. Thomas Quince takes 3rd place from Freddie Lloyd, who crosses the line in P4. We'll look at the replay back a little bit later on, but it just looked like the concertina effect had kicked in, and I think 4 into 1 didn't go, and unfortunately it was like a ricochet between the drivers, but I'm sure Freddie will have something to say about what happened at that final corner. Carts come in, and the classifications will appear on your screen as cued. Harrison Mackie, Cathal Clark, Thomas Quince, Freddie Lloyd, Tyke Butley, Toby Gale, Timo Ramikas, Noah Montero, Austin Gale, Mattis Reiber, Romeo Rosell, Vilma Sven, Harry Bartel, Angelina Proenka, and Munir Senna, rounding out the top 15 out on circuit, separated by 4.5 seconds. Joseph Smith, Elvis Krakauskis, Nikita Nikashov, Daniel Mota, Giovanni Tarazona, Enzo Ruggiero, and Thomas Fernandez round out the 22